Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Max wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws, playing a tap Thundering Falls, and surveils a card, putting it to the graveyard. Mathieu plays a tap Breeding Pool. Arj's got a Plains and just passes. I play a Seed of the Synod, and then pay a blue for a Moonsnare prototype. Max has a Seachrome Coast and casts a Blade of Selves. Mathieu draws, plays a Swamp, and casts Aftermath Analyst. He mills 3 as it comes in, and passes. Arj has got an Isolated Chapel, and casts an Inox Strike Leader. I play Great Furnace and cast Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Max's turn has him playing a Swamp and just puts Jengantha to hand and passes. Mathieu's main phase has him playing an Amulet of Vigor and then plays an Overgrown Tomb, which comes in tapped but gets to untap thanks to the amulet. Archer plays a Silent Clearing and swings the Inox Strike Leader at Max. A Goblin comes at each of us, and Mathieu blocks his, while Max and I take the hits. After combat, Arja casts a Diabolic Intent, sacrificing a Goblin token, and tutors for a card. He then plays a Cult Conscript. I just draw, cast a Virulent Slicer, and then play an Island and pass. Max draws and plays a tap Savai Triome, and then casts Widespread Thieving. Mathieu's got a Prismatic Vista, cracking it and losing 1 to find a land, and then cast Teval. Arja's turn has him playing a Reliquary Tower, and he swings the Inox Strike Leader at Max again. This time around, Mathieu and I block the Goblins, but Max takes a 3. After combat, Arja casts Smothering Tithe, but I counter it with a Swan Song, and then he passes. I play a Cascade Bluffs and cast Long Range Sensor. I then swing the Virulent Slicer at Arja, but he chumps with a Goblin token. I pass after that. Max draws and plays out an untapped Godless Shrine, taking 2, and then casts Jengantha and passes. Mathieu's turn has him drawing and going straight to combat, swinging Teval at me. He mills 3, and then brings back the Prismatic Vista, making a zombie token. I take 4 commander damage, and Matt then passes. Arja's got a Swamp for turn, and then brings out Breena. He goes to combat, and sends the Drake at Mathieu and the Strike Leader at me. Arja puts the on-attack Breena triggers on the Inox Strike Leader to give it 4+1/+1 counters, and I then take all the damage while Matt and Mathieu block the Goblin tokens, but take the rest. In his post-combat main phase, Arja then suspends Profane Tutor and passes. During his end step, I exile Arja's Smothering Tithe with the Soul Cauldron. I draw and swing the Virulent Slicer at Arja, who once more blocks it with a Goblin token. After combat, I activate the Long Range Sensor, discovering 4, which has me hitting a Clock of Omens. I pass after that. Max draws and taps Jengantha to use the mana to cast a Revi, and as it comes in, untaps the Beast. He then plays Buried in the Garden, and targets Teval. This has Mathieu responding with Rakshas's Bargain to try and dig for an answer. He fails. Teval gets exiled, and Max also pays into the Widespread Thieving's trigger to get Aura Shards. He then casts Miri, Weatherlight Duelist, and as it comes in, blows up the Amulet of Vigor with the Aura Shards trigger. Max then follows up with an Infinite Guideline Station and destroys 4 of my artifacts as he makes robot tokens, but he lets me keep a few at least. Max then stations Infinite with Miri and passes. During the end step, Mathieu cracks the Prismatic Vista for a Swamp. Matt draws and plays a Shifting Woodland, and then casts Soul Ring. He follows up with Bala Ged Recovery, returning to hand his Amulet of Vigor. Arja takes down his profane tutor, draws, and casts a ranger captain of Eos. This gets him an Lightstall Inquisitor, which he then casts. We each exile a card from our hands, and Arja then goes to combat. He sends the Strike Leader at Max, and Breena and the other Goblins and Bird token at Mathieu. And the Strike Leader is also sending a Goblin token at each of us. Arja puts the Breena triggers on itself, and Max blocks 1 Goblin, while Mathieu blocks 2, and they take the rest. After combat, Arja then plays a Swamp, and casts Sign in Blood, losing 2 and drawing 2. I just draw, casting Teval in my main phase, and passing to Max. Max draws and taps Miri and his robot token to station Infinite, and he then casts Aragorn the Uniter. He follows up with Brago, getting a soldier token and scrying 2 thanks to Aragorn. Going to combat, Max then sends Infinite and Derevi at Arja, and 3 robots at Mathieu. Matt blocks a robot with his Aftermath Analyst, and Arja takes 9 off the flyers. Max then draws 9 with Infinite connecting, and untaps Infinite and some lands with Derevi. In his post-combat main phase, Max then plays a Mistveto Vanisher, and then assemble the Legion, dealing 3 to Arja off of Aragorn. Max then continues Nahiri's Resolve, and deals another 3 to Arja. He then stations Infinite with a Mistmeadow Vanisher to blink it. Infinite comes back, and makes 9 more robot tokens. Going to his end step, Max then exiles the Vanisher and Derevi to Nahiri's Resolve, and he passes. During the end step, Mathieu activates and sacrifices the Aftermath Analyst, getting back all the lands from his graveyard to the field tapped. Mathieu draws and cracks the Prismatic Vista again, finding a forest. He then cracks a Flooded Strand for an untapped Watery Grave, and then casts an Amulet of Vigor. He then cracks the Verdant Catacombs, going to find a Zagoth Triome, which comes in untapped. He casts Necromancy, targeting the Aftermath Analyst after that. As it comes in, he mills 3, and then recasts Teval and passes. On his upkeep, Arja sacrifices the Ranger Captain, with Mathieu responding by casting Obscuring Haze to fog combat. Arja then removes the final counter from the Profane Tutor, and goes to find a card, casting a Dark Ritual in his main phase. Then casts a Ruthless Technomancer, sacrificing the Inox Strike Leader for 6 treasure. Arja then follows up with a Marionette Master, and has it come in with Fabricate, putting +1/+1 counters on it. He then sends a Goblin at Max and I, and his Bird token at Mathieu. Arja puts the Breena triggers on the Marionette Master, with only the ability to take out 1 player because of how many treasures he has. He just decides to threaten the entire table, and passes. I draw, but with no white mana, have to pass. Max gets back to Derevi and the Mistmeadow Vanisher on his upkeep, and he targets 2 treasure tokens with Aura Shards. This has Arja sacrificing both of them and dealing 16 to Max, and Max then draws for turn. He cycles a Zagoth Triome, drawing a card, and then plays a Spire Garden. We then see him casting Ignoble Hierarch, which gives Brago +4/+4 with the Aragorn trigger. Max then continues by casting a Fabro Elder, and as it comes in, destroys the Amulet of Vigor, and pumps up Brago again, and he then goes to combat. Max then sends lethal at Mathieu and I, but targets the Marionette Master with the Mistmeadow Vanisher. This forces Arja's hand, having him crack a treasure token to deal 8 to Max, and then declares he'll crack another one to try and take him out. Max responds with a Path to Exile targeting the Master, and Arja cracks his final treasure to take Max out. With Max no longer in the game, we pass through the phases, and during the end step, Arja casts Swords to Plowshares on the Aftermath Analyst. Mathieu draws and casts a Turn Timber Sower, and then sings Teval at me. He mills his cards and gets a Command Tower off the trigger, which also brings back Bloodghast, making him a total of 2 zombie tokens. I then bump off Teval with Tecathal, and Mathieu then has his Shifting Woodland become a copy of 6. He then discards Field of the Dead, casting Zurin Orb from his graveyard. He then discards Witch's Cottage to cast Amulet of Vigor. Mathieu then continues sacrificing 2 plant tokens and Bloodghast to his Timber Sower and returns the Verdant Catacombs to hand. He then plays a Port of Carfell, reanimating the Bloodghast once more and passing. Arja's turn has him casting a Scheming Symmetry and targets me, and we both tutor for a card to put on top. He then goes to combat and swings Breena at Mathieu and everything else at me. I chump the Marionette Master but take the rest, and after combat, Arja casts Infernal Grasp on his Ruthless Technomancer. He then casts Animate Dead to bring it back. The Technomancer sacrifices Breena, making him 7 more treasure tokens. He then pops 3 of them to take me out. Arja then sacrifices his other treasures in an attempt to take Matt out, but Mathieu is ready by sacrificing 11 lands to stay alive. Arja then uses that floating mana to cast Elesh Norn and passes. Mathieu draws and miracles a Devastation Tide. He then plays a Command Tower, which gets back Bloodghast, and then casts Amulet of Vigor and Zurin Orb again. He passes to Arja after that. Arja draws, plays a Swamp, and recasts Elesh Norn, which, because of her static effect, takes out the Bloodghast. He then casts Jailbreak and targets the Bloodghast, and in turn gets back his Inox Strike Leader. Arja ships it after that. Mathieu draws, playing a Verdant Catacombs, and then floats a mana off the Command Tower before sacrificing it for 2 life to the Zurin Orb. He then cracks the Catacombs, finding a forest, and then casts Teval. This in turn lets him cast Deadly Rollick for free, and takes out Elesh Norn. Matt then passes turn. Arja warps in a Starfield Shepherd, getting a Plains and playing it for turn. He then casts the Ruthless Technomancer, and has it sacrificing the Shepherd for 3 treasure tokens. He then casts an Animate Dead and targets the Shepherd, which as it comes in, finds him another Plains to hand. Arja then finishes up with an Esper Sentinel, and passes. Matt draws and swings Teval at Arja, milling his cards and then getting back Great Arishan City. Arja then takes the hit, and Mathieu then casts an Encroaching Dragonstorm after combat. He gets to find 2 basics, and this gets to bring back Bloodghast as well. He passes after that. Arja's got a Swamp, and recasts the Lightstall Inquisitor again, hitting Mathieu's last card in hand. He then recasts the Marionette Master, fabricating to put the counters on it, and swings everything at Mathieu. Mathieu once more sacrifices some lands to survive combat, and Arja then uses the Ruthless Technomancer, and sacrificing 3 treasure tokens to reanimate the Ranger Captain. With the damage on the stack, Mathieu in turn sacrifices his remaining lands, and he is able to survive yet again, with the Ranger Captain coming in, and then going to find Arja Mother of Ruins. He passes after that. Mathieu draws and swings Teval at Arja, getting Urza's Saga off the trigger. Unfortunately though, with no way out, Mathieu then decides to play a Misty Rainforest, and cracks it to give Arja the game. Game review time. So this is a bit of a long one, but I think it was pretty sweet. Everyone else except for me got to do what they wanted to do. I loved how Mathieu kept clawing his way back in despite the fact that he's kept going down to 0 lands. It was really cool to see, and I think if the Aftermath Analyst hadn't been exiled, he probably would have been able to recur and be a real pain in Arja's side. That being said, that Marionette Master from Arja was scary. It was effectively player removal as soon as it hit the table, and even though he had very few treasures, it just seemed like he was always threatening to dome someone. My Kilo deck really needed a white source, and I had a pretty decent hand otherwise, so it was kind of bumming me out. And Infinite Station, despite the fact that it's just 5-color good stuff, continues to surprise me with Max's card inclusions. I love some of these weird cards that include blinks, and it's really fun to see things getting tapped for value like Miri. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.